Hi guys and welcome to my channel. It's Vesna here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today is part one of the garden series, so let's get started. So for the first project, we are making some plant signs. So just little DIY signs that you can put into your pots or planters. So to start off, I will be using some cutlery, some knives, plastic knives, and some corks. Now, you can get corks on Amazon. I've seen them at the Dollar Tree, I believe, as well. And plastic cutlery you could even get for free if you save it from like eating out or whatnot. So I will be painting out the knives in this metallic turquoise blue. I'm loving this color. And then the corks are really easy. I'm just writing in the different herbs that I'm going to be using them for because they're cork and wood. I won't be leaving them outside. They'll probably go on my deck. My deck is covered and they'll just be for herbs. So I'm just writing in all the different herbs that I'm using and that's it. I'm just handwriting them and then I'm using these skewers to put into the cork so that I could have something to stick into the dirt. Easiest DIY in the world. Easiest idea, I guess, in the world. This is just to give you some ideas of what you could do to label your plants. Can use scissors to put a hole in there, but it's not safe, so don't do it. Better to just use a screwdriver, or if you have even a metal skewer to kind of make a hole in there, but please do be careful because you can still cut yourself, and you don't have to put a deep hole, just a little bit to get it in there, and then hot glue the ends of it, and that's all you have to do. And I've cut the skewers in half, and here it is. Boom, all done. Easiest DIY ever. So isn't this just a gorgeous color? I absolutely love it. So all you're going to do here is write the name of your vegetables that you want to label using a Sharpie. And you only have to spray paint one side. As you can see, the other one is covered already. So we'll do garlic. So you can obviously do any vegetables that you'd like in any way that you'd like. If you wanted to do it on the rim of the knife, you could do it there. I did it here because it's nice and flat. It all depends on what kind of plastic cutlery you have. And you can do any color you want. I just chose this color because I love how it looks. I may paint it out as the vegetables start growing in because I might want to balance out the color, so I might do it more neutral, or I might do it white so it pops, or I might just leave it. I haven't decided. We'll see as they start growing. Here they are all completed in my planter, and I'll show you what I do with this planter a little bit later in the video. I am, again, disclaimer, I'm not a professional or a farmer or anything like that. I do this as a hobby and it works for me. So if you have different methods, by all means give them a try, or if you think something works better, you do you. This is what's worked for me, but I'm not claiming that I'm a professional. I'm just giving you some ideas and sharing some of the fun stuff we like to do as a family. So this next part is the garden series part, which I talked about. So I will be starting some seedlings with this little guy here. He's helping me. He loves to help in the garden. So we are just filling up this tray with dirt, and then we're going to be putting some seeds in there and planting them. Now, what happened was we put the seeds in there and then he stepped in it and flipped it over so the seedlings fell out. So now I don't know which one's which to label them, but I kind of just put everything back together and I'll show you what it looks like in the second part of, like probably by next week, if something comes up, it'll come up. Yeah, he lost his balance and then he tripped on it and then flipped it over. It was kind of funny. He was very upset, so I didn't make it a thing. But I used the Pro Mix organic vegetable soil, well, not soil, potting mix, and I mix it with just some black earth. And I did that even for the seedlings because it gives that drainage and it like has some nutrients in there to help the seedlings grow. And then just to start them, I use a little bit of the Miracle Grow for vegetables. It's the organic one, and I just use a little bit just to get everything to root. But again, we stepped in it, so who knows. Then I'm just planting. My kids love pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, so we're just planting some pumpkins and hoping that they magically appear over the summer. I've planted pumpkins before and they did not, by the time that they actually grew and started to turn orange, the weather had gotten so cold, so it wasn't a long enough season. So we'll try it. If it works out, it works out. It's something fun for us to do as a family with my little kiddos. So we're just putting it into the ground, and I'm just turning the ground a little bit, like the soil there, and then I'm adding that vegetable mix, just to give some nutrients. And then same thing, just popping them in there, and that's it. And then these are where I'll have my tomatoes, my cucumbers, my beans, my peas, and hopefully garlic. And these are just two big planters that I got at Costco. One I got last year, one I got this year, so you can kind of see the color difference a little bit. And I've moved them to a part of my house where there's full sun all day and they're kind of out of the way and they're next to the hose. So they'll be easy for watering. These are great. It's just enough vegetables for us to have a taste of some fresh veggies, but not too much. I used to, when we lived in our old house, we had a gigantic backyard. So I had a really, really big vegetable garden. The problem is it wasn't, I mean, it was big, like being in the city. And so it was a big garden that I had like so many tomatoes and so many cucumbers, but not quite enough to make like ketchup or tomato sauce because you need like a lot of tomatoes for those things, but too much for us to eat. And then, then you're trying to upkeep it, and it was just a lot of work. It was before I had kids. I'm not doing that anymore, but this is just a cute little garden for us to have tomatoes basically all summer, some cherry tomatoes, some bigger tomatoes, and some cucumbers, and it'll be just enough for us. I used to have so many cucumbers that I literally didn't know what to do with them. I gave them away, I pickled them, it was just too much. And then if you let them sit on there too long too, then they get kind of gross. They don't taste as good. So to prep these, I'm leaving some of the soil that was in there from last year just at the bottom, and then I'm adding some of this Pro Mix as well as some black earth, just mixing it all together so that way it has enough nutrients for everything. And then I will be planting some garlic, which I unfortunately didn't record. It was raining, so I just kind of popped it in there. So what I do is I just take a garlic clove, separate it, and then I put the part with the root down and I cover it up, and that's it. And I'll show you how I plant the cucumbers and the peas and the beans. These ones I usually do from seed. We wanted to do the seedlings because it's something for my kids to water and look at them grow. And my son is learning about plant and plant life and plant life cycles, so it's a nice thing for the older one to do as well. But then I always just do seeds in here, and they're just fine the way I do it. So I'm doing some cucumbers in here, and what I do is I just take a few of the seeds and I put them into like little nests. And then I kind of do it two ways, and then I do just like a little line, and then I just put them in that line and cover them up. You'll see what I mean. And I do that with the peas as well and with the beans. Now I put green beans and regular beans in one, and I also put hot peppers in the same plot over there. So because the hot peppers don't get very big, the beans will get big and they'll kind of like be all over the place. I will try my best to make, and then I'll show you guys, to make like little tripods so that way they can grow nicer. But I'm not very good at that. I try every year and then I just kind of give up on it. So I'll try it harder this year and then I'll show you what it's like. My husband's grandmother they live back home and they have like a huge, huge plot of land, and they grow all of their own vegetables. And those vegetables were in the straightest line you've ever seen. And she was like really meticulous, and it all had to be straight. It was such an organized and beautiful garden. I am not like that. Unfortunately, mine is all organized chaos. And you don't, so when you are planting, you don't want to go too deep. You just kind of want to like push the seeds in. So if you make a line like I'm doing here, you just do a line and then you kind of do that and then you just cover it up. So you don't want to go too deep because if you go too deep, it'll just take for them longer for them to grow. And then you just water it. Again, I'm using that combination of that organic Miracle Grow, but you can use whatever you'd like. If you don't want to use that, you can just do whatever. And the water that I use is rainwater. I always use rainwater. So I've just got a salad starter from my mom, which I'm going to plant into here. And then I've got a few lettuce seeds, like seeds for lettuce from the crop last year. This I got from my mom's friend. So I will sow those where the beans are because they'll just kind of come up before the beans do anyway. Should. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to do. So like I said, no prep to this. Just make a little hole. I put a little bit of that Miracle Grow mixture. And then I take this with the dirt on it. I pop it in here. And I just kind of put it all in here. Make sure I cover if I got any seeds out there. And then I'm just going to sow, like not a lot, just like very little of these seeds. So hopefully you guys can see them right here. I'm just going to cover it with some dirt. I'll get some dirt from here and just cover it up. Done. And that's all there's to this. I'm going to water everything. Then I'll show you what it looks like. I'm watering it again with that mixture. So there we go. I've labeled everything. Watered it. And now we wait. Patiently. And I've planted this little guy here. And we wait. Hopefully it'll all come up. Like I said, I am not a professional by any means. I do this as a hobby. I've been successful to get crops every year. Sometimes there's a lot of them, sometimes there isn't a lot. Lettuce I've had a harder time with, and peppers. When I've planted them from seed, I've had a harder time. When I buy them as transplants, they usually work out fine. But cucumbers I always get. Knock on wood, watch this year, I'm not going to get them. But usually I've had success with cucumbers and peas. And beans. And garlic. Except for last year. The garlic never came up. I have a feeling the squirrels dug it out. Because I found garlic in odd places in the backyard. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know what you thought. Give me a big thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I will be having my furniture flip video on Sunday, so make sure you drop by for that. And then I have an awesome video for you next week, so we'll put pause on the garden video. It'll be a DIY next week because we're in lockdown, so I'm participating in a collaboration where we create some fantastic DIYs from essential items only because we can't buy craft supplies right now. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day and stay safe.